So today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about how to get unstuck. Stay tuned. So, getting unstuck, right? I think a lot of us go through periods of time where we're not sure what decision to make. We're struggling with two equally valuable options and choices that both seem, equally good. Or maybe neither of your choices seem that great, but you have to make a choice. And so you say, hey, how do I choose the best of a few not so good choices? And I think there are a number of ways that we can solve for this so that we can get to the point where we're no longer stuck, but we're at least stepping forward and moving in a direction. And let me give you some of the reasons why I think this is important to be able to do. I think it's important because sometimes you won't know whether or not one of the decisions is going to work out or not, or is the better decision or not, until you've finally made a choice. And what I mean by that is there are times where you make a choice and all of a sudden you run up against a roadblock. And that is your then answer that says, this was not the best route to go down. But sometimes you just wouldn't have known until you've at least made a decision and run into the roadblock. And sometimes that'll get you to where you should be going faster than the person who's still stuck at the fork in the road trying to figure out, do I go to the left or do I go to the right? So a number of things that we can do to help ourselves get unstuck, right? I think the first thing that we can do is study and research as much as we can about the decision that we're trying to make, all right? Learn as much as you can about the different options. Do these options fit me? Are they suited to me, all right? Are there any negative implications because of these? Are there some moral things that I need to consider about whatever decision I'm trying to make, right? Think about and research, all the different angles that you can think about this from reasonably, all right? Especially if you're on a time crunch, you may not have that much time, but as much time as you can spend researching the thing, right? What major to choose, etc., blah, 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 blah. Then I would also, the Bible talks about there being a multitude of counselors, right? So part of having some wisdom is going to people that you can trust to give you sound advice and asking for some of their insight, into whatever decision it is that you're trying to make. They might be able to see things about you that might be better off or worse, right? They might be able to see things about the situation, or maybe they've dealt with the situation before, right? So surround yourself with people who you can gain insight from. And those aren't always people that you might know personally. Sometimes that might be someone who maybe is just a thought leader or content leader on the internet, or maybe you might read a book about from somebody who's going through a certain kind of situation, right? So gaining insight that way. And then if all else fails, I suggest taking a coin and flipping it, all right? And maybe you have more than two options that you're working with. So maybe you have something else that has three sides to it or something like that, right? Or some way, shape, or form. Maybe you put all of the names of the different options that you have in the hat and, close your eyes and choose one out of the hat, right? But what I mean is that sometimes you have to take it out of your hands. And I think that that's a matter of faith as well. I know I talked about faith in my last video, but I think sometimes we're not able to see from our viewpoint, from our own lens, what the best option or the best choice would be. And as long as we know that we've done our due diligence and our research to present ourselves with the best choices, then sometimes I think you just gotta flip a coin and whatever it lands on, go with that until maybe you run into a roadblock along that path that lets you know, okay, boom, this isn't going to be the choice. Now I know for sure I can go and choose the other option that I was looking at, all right? So that's just a simple way that I think has been helpful for me to decide to get unstuck and to actually start taking action on some things, and not feel like I've just been standing frozen for months, years. Some people have remained frozen on certain things for even decades because they simply couldn't make a choice. And sometimes it would be better for you to step on out there, gain some experience, maybe realize that it was not the best choice, but now you know what the best choice is. So I hope that was helpful for somebody. Again, average is failure. All right. Start moving and creating and doing by faith. Peace.